Good evening. We are 3 days before Parashat Matot Mas'ei. It's 2 parashot with Shabbat. The parasha starting with the topic that called Nedarim, to make vows, to swear, to promise. In one place in the Torah is very, very strict about what comes out of the person's mouth. And I'm not talking about Lashon Hara or Motzi Shem Ra, gossip. This is different warnings in the Torah. I'm talking about a person that say things that he's going to do, or he promised to help, or he promised to give tzedakah, or he promised to come to a shiur, or he promised to make a shiur. Even if he doesn't say clearly, I promise, he just say, I'm going to do, I will do it, I will help you, I will come with you. He binds himself into this obligation that he must keep what comes out of his mouth. The Torah says, "Et motza sfatecha tishmor." What came out of your mouth, you have to watch carefully. The Gemara brings an example how strict he can get. You know me for all these years. Some of you know me for a long time. Some of you, first time I see you tonight. But you know that everything I say, I bring proof from the Torah. Over the years, I wanted to make it clear to the people that life is not a picnic. There are too many rabbis out there that they make the Torah more beautiful than what it is. Which means when it comes to punishment, they cover everything with white. No, don't tell them. Why you turn them off? Why you scare them? No, that's not our intention. All these rabbis forget one very important thing, that when Hashem gave the Torah, He knew all the generations until the end, include our generation. He knew that it's going to be a lot of losers that are all over, they have no idea what they live for, they have no idea what the Torah is. He knew all that. Some of the things that He did not want ordinary people to know, He did not put in a written Torah. Because the written Torah, every ignorant Jew can take it from the shelf and read. Cannot hide. Talmud, it's already a higher level. You have to be in yeshiva to know Talmud. No. Some of the things that are not in the Torah are in the Gemara. But some of the things that Hashem did not even put in the oral Torah, which means is in the secrets of the Torah, which is the Kabbalah, like the Zohar, and some hidden stuff, only very few individuals knows about it. For instance, Masechet Gehinom. I spoke about it 2 weeks ago. Maybe I got 150 emails that people wants to get that DVD about hell. I want to see what's going on over there. Well, I know I'm not doing the right thing. I want to know what I'm going to face. 150 brave people from thousands of people who watch every day. 150 people sending email, 1 or 2 called. That's it. That's how many brave people you have out there that wants to know it. Even though it's not, I didn't say I recommend it. I just say it's for people who are already advanced. They know Torah, they know Hashem is there, they know Hashem is watching us, they know everything. But they go down on their level, or they stay in the same place for 10 years already. They're not moving. Somebody like this needs an open heart surgery to shake him up. What is it? You learn what's going on over there. Believe me, it's like a special battery. It makes you fly to heaven. But you see that this is something that Hashem didn't want every Jew to know. That's why it's not in the Torah. If Hashem wanted every kid to know what's going on in hell, He would make it a part of the Torah. He said, Hashem say to Moshe, this is what's going to happen for the wicked people. I'm going to send them to the first, the second, the third, up to the 7th place. Describe in the Torah what's going on there, like the rest of the stuff in the Torah. But He didn't want people to know. That part, I agree. We don't discuss and start giving description of what's going on over there to every ordinary Jew. No. However, when the Torah says that the Jew that doesn't keep Shabbat loses Judaism, clearly in 12 different places in the Torah, who is the hero, rabbi or not rabbi, doesn't really matter. Who is that hero that have the nerve to modify the Torah and show the Jews otherwise than what the Torah says? If the Torah says in 12 different places, Mechalel Shabbat Mot Yumat, So a person who violates the rules of Shabbat should be put to death in this life and in the next life for eternity. He lost his eternity. Who is this hero that have the nerve and the strong shoulder to hide such an important thing from millions of Jews? I don't know. I don't know how people have this nerve. If it's in the Torah and Jews are coming to you to learn the Torah, who are you to decide what parts of the Torah is positive, what parts of the Torah is not so good? Leave it out. Don't tell them. Like somebody tells me, no, we don't want to turn them off. And my answer to him is, you cannot turn off somebody who is off all his life. From the minute he was born in a kibbutz, he's off. He was born in an off. He's off all his life. 40, 50 years he's off. Where you can turn him off? Where? He's off already. Maybe you shake him. Maybe you wake up. Maybe not. What did you lose? He stayed the same. It's nothing to lose. And trust me, from experience, it works. 30, 40% of the people eventually wake up. So what I start to say is, the Torah has two sides. Hashem says, you good with me, I will reward you endless reward. There's no words to describe how much I'm going to give you after you leave this world. You play games, you rebel against the Torah, you disrespect the Torah, you disrespect the Chachamim, the Talmud, Shulchan Aruch, you live according to your own Shulchan Aruch. It's called Rav Manoach. You know Rav Manoach? There's one big rabbi, his name was Rabbi Manoach. You know him? He was the father of Shimshon. But in Hebrew they made a joke about it. If you take the word Manoach and break it to two words, is Ma, Noach. Whatever is comfortable. That's the name. My rabbi is Rabbi Manoach. Manoach li I do. Whatever is comfortable I do. It's not so comfortable, not for me. Leave it alone. It's not for me. So the idea is that when the Torah says such a thing, from Nedarim, this is one of the ways to know how strict Hashem can get. How strict Hashem can get. How to believe. How to imagine. How strict, for one word that comes out of a person's mouth, what punishment he can get for that. Here I'll give you an example. And you tell me if I make it up, or I'm too extreme, or whatever you want to call it. The Gemara brings a story about a righteous woman. She has a bakery. Story that happened. Chachamim brings that story. It happened in their time, 2,000 years ago. The woman has a bakery. One guy comes to her and gives her some kind of a jewel, like gold or something, coin of gold or a jewel, whatever it was, it's not relevant. Something valuable. And he said, I want you to watch it for me. So she takes it, she puts it on the side, on a shelf maybe, something, she's hiding it. Somehow, workers, people work in a bakery, you have doughs, flours, somehow it fell into the flour. And then they put water and they made dough and they made bread. And the piece of gold went into one of the bread loaves. Then she sold it to one of the customers for a few shekel, whatever it was. And this guy, imagine when he was doing Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu, Hamotzi Lechem min haaretz, became a millionaire. He found gold inside. In the meantime, the owner of the gold, after a few days, he comes back to this woman. So where is my piece? She goes, she looks all over, it's gone. You thief, you stole it, what's going on? She said, I promise you, I didn't touch it. I wanted to watch it for you. I don't know what happened. In the end, when she saw that he doesn't believe her, she said, I swear to you, I make a neder, a vow, that if I enjoyed from it even a bit, my son should die, she said, just for you to believe me, if I enjoyed from it. So the Gemara said 2-3 days later her boy died. Why her boy died? She didn't lie. She didn't steal. Just because when you make a bread, let's say you use 1 pound of dough, let's say, so now you use 3/4 of a pound of dough because the piece of gold that went in made you use less dough. So you enjoyed by a quarter. 1/4 it saved her, right? On the bread, when she made the dough, let's say each bread cost her $1 to make, let's say. So now it cost her 75 cents to make. Why? Because she had to put less dough to make it, because it got mixed. So the little that she enjoyed from the quarter or a cent or whatever it was, I don't really know how much it cost, a piece of dough. From that pleasure that she had, that it saves her a quarter or a penny, her boy fell and died. How can it be such a thing? How can it be? You understand? Now we get an understanding how important is what comes out of our mouth. There was a case of one guy that he came to a seminar and was making fun of the Torah. Yeah, rabbis, forget it. So in the end he told the rabbi, you know, some of the people come to the lecture, not here, Baruch Hashem, here everyone is listening, they're quiet, they come to learn. But in seminars, it's made for mainly not religious people. 99% of the people that comes, they either don't believe or they don't keep anything. Some of them are jokers, they come to get attention. You know, it's an opportunity to fight, to argue, to show that you're really a big shot. So one of them said to the rabbi, I will be religious when I'm going to have hair growing here in my palm. The rabbi said, Amen. A few years later, the rabbi passed away, so I don't want to say his name. He passed away. So he's not here, he's Baruch Hashem already in heaven. But he said that story many years ago. So a few years later, he sits in his office, and a guy with a black hat and a beard shows up. Yes, Rabbi. Yes, what can I do for you? Who are you? You don't remember me? I'm the troublemaker from that seminar a few years ago. He looks at him, he says, that's you? Wait a minute, you're the one who say that you be religious only when you're going to have hair here. What happened? You changed your mind? I said, no. Here, look. Shows him the hair, the hand full of hair. Hair growing on his palm. The rabbi said, how can it be? I never saw such a thing. I was driving with my car. My hand was outside of the window. A bus came from the other side. It's a narrow road. Shaved my hands. Shh. You know, smashed my hands. The whole palm of my hand got ripped. All the skin. All the skin got shaved completely. Mamash, you could see the bones inside. They took me quickly to the emergency room. They took from my back piece of skin, and they saw the skin all over my palm. And since then, I have hair growing here. You know, over there it's hairy. And I remember my words, and I say, Hashem, I got my point. I got my lesson. I just want to tell you that 99 out of 100% of the people, 99%, even with something like this, they wouldn't become religious. Coincidence. Coincidence. Mamash, hair is going. Just to show you how dangerous is what you say. Very dangerous. One guy, he saw that, you know, he has a friend that is married for more than 20-something years. Many, many years. And him and his wife couldn't have kids. Many, many years. And, you know, the longer you wait, the chances supposedly are lower. We're talking natural. Jews anyway, all their life is one big miracle, full of many small miracles. Naturally, if a woman is 45, 46, what's the chance she's going to become pregnant? Much lower than a 20 or 22, right? Everybody understands that. Especially if the system wasn't working over the years. She never got married before, she didn't have kids before, it makes the chance even lower. That's basically what the doctors are saying. That's nature. Jews, Sarah Imenu was 90 when she became pregnant. It's really happened in reality. But the miracle was much greater than that. Not only that she was 90, to begin with she was born without a womb. She didn't have a rechem. Did you ever hear about a pregnant woman that doesn't have a rechem? So where the baby was? Today, if the pregnancy developed out of the womb, it's life risk. Life risk, mamash, is pikuach nefesh, such a thing. Big risk, big problem, tfilot, all over the yeshivot, praying for this woman. She didn't even have a rechem. How to understand? But you see, that's what's happened. Yitzchak came to the world from a 90 years old woman, which means in Bar Mitzvah she was 103 years old, almost like Rav Kaduri, alav shalom. Yeah. So anyway, that person, over the years, you see that his friends is not really becoming pregnant. So one time he comes to his wife and he says to her, if this person and his wife will have a baby, I'll sell my businesses and I move to Yerushalayim and I go to yeshiva full time. And the chance was very, very small. You know, they were very old, already much older. So the wife said, Amen. I hope. She wants to move. Usually it's the other way around. The husband wants to go to yeshiva and the wife wants to continue to buy jewelry. That's a conflict. My husband is going to start becoming avrech. Even if we have money, how am I going to buy jewelry? Eshet avrech, you know. Who am I going to show it to? To all the wives of the avrechim that hardly have a piece of bread at home? It's not going to be, there's no satisfaction to come to the poor people with a big diamond ring and go like this. How are you today? Who you are impressing? They have no idea what it is to begin with. If you buy a very expensive watch and you go to a very poor neighborhood in Peru somewhere, in Zimbabwe, you come with your, I don't know, you name it, Cartier, whatever, it's $100,000 watch. In New York, people appreciate it. The phony people in New York, they can tell right away. Even though today there's a lot of good fake ones. I never understand if the fake looked just as the good, why a person would ever spend $1 on a real. That's my common sense. I don't understand. Same thing with the diamond rings. People are so broke, they don't know how to pay the wedding. They're killing themselves, borrowing. Why you need to buy $15,000 diamond ring? Just buy a cubic zirconia for $20. It looks exactly the same. The show, to begin with, it was meant for a show-off. Anyway, and nobody can tell, nobody. Trust me, my father used to make diamonds. One time a person brought to him a good cubic zirconia from Russia. I don't know, maybe the Russian makes good fake ones. And he couldn't tell that it's not a diamond. After 30 years at that time that he was in a business from morning to night making diamonds. He was mama. Oh, I touch a sensitive point here. Right. Every lecture I gotta get into some kind of a trouble. Buy one commission from how much money I saved you. No, she's gonna think it's a setup or something. No. Diamonds is an exception to the rule, because diamonds have some kind of blessing according to the Kabbalah. The Ramchal, the greatest Kabbalist, the Ramchal used to make diamonds. Ramchal, 250 years ago in Padova. Anyway, going back to what I said. So he says, when he's going to become pregnant, I'm going to sell everything and go to Yerushalayim, to yeshiva. Few years went by. One day he get a phone call. By then his wife, of that person, is older than 45. She never had kids. Nobody gave her that much a chance. So today I heard that the women 63 years old, they're giving birth. I even heard 67. I keep these articles that people send me. I have hundreds of amazing articles from different newspapers all over the world that you can take the article and put it right on the Gemara, word by word. Like for instance, the Gemara say one man, his wife died, and she left a baby, he's breastfeeding. So the Gemara say he had a miracle that his breast, a man, started to produce milk, and the baby was breastfeeding from him. So I remember reading it many years ago when I was younger. I was thinking to myself, all these fairy tales, what's going on here? Until I saw an article, an authentic article with picture of the person that is breastfeeding his baby somewhere in the world. Once in a blue moon, you have other, amazing things that happens. Anyway, so he get a phone call. It's his friend. Moshe, yes. מגיע לי מזל טוב. I deserve a mazal tov. You got excited, I see. Anyway, מגיע לנו מזל טוב. We deserve a mazal tov. You say, yeah, what? My wife had a baby boy. You know, when they become pregnant, they hide 9 months. Afraid of ayin hara. Yeah. All these years, you don't want to take risk. So they hide. Where is your wife? She went to visit her mother in Israel. 6 months later, where is your wife? She went to visit her father in Russia. Oh, Mazal Tov, we have a boy. Fine. Mazal Tov, we have a boy. What do you expect after 30 years you're waiting for a baby? You call up your friend, your good friend, you tell him you have a boy. What do you expect to hear on the other line? Screaming, you know, like, wow, ishtabach shmo, calls his wife, screaming. No, emotions, no? Oh, yeah? Baruch Hashem, Mazal Tov. Right away, remember this neder. He knows neder is neder, it's no jokes. He believes in Hashem. He calls up his wife. He says, why? I got myself into a big mess now. I have to sell all my businesses and move to Israel. The wife are happy. It's Shtabach Shemo. Double happiness now. For here and for going to Israel. But then, of course, the Yetzer Hara began, and he doesn't want. So he wants to make Atarat Nedarim. There's a way to untie the vows, to open it up, to cancel it. So he went to Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Gdol Ador. He went to the biggest rabbi in the world. He comes to him and says, Rabbi, this is what happened. And I know that the Gemara said that some nedarim, it's better you go to the chief rabbi to open it. Big chacham, it's like a beit din. Please make me atarat nedarim for this neder. If I ever thought that there's a chance that his wife in such an age will become pregnant, I would never make that neder. I never had an intention to have this neder. So the rabbi said to him, I'm very sorry, it's very, very, very difficult to do what you want me to do. It's not so simple. So Rabbi, why? Everyone makes neder and come the next day, 3 guys sit, atarat nedarim, finish. So not this one. What's the difference, he said, between my neder? He says, sometimes there is a decree on a person. Decree. Hashem announced in the court of heaven in Rosh Hashanah, 1 year, this person and his wife will not have kids. That's a decree, sealed, closed, finished. Will not have kids. Whatever the reason is, from their previous life, from the current life, from something that they did, who knows? So sometimes when Hashem sees a Jew that is willing to sacrifice so much, to sell all his businesses, all his money to put and to go into learn Torah all his life, such a big thing, something like this can cancel the decree. How do we know that the only reason that this woman is pregnant is not thanks to what came out of your mouth? Now you're going to go and make Hatarat Nedarim, Chas v'Shalom, tomorrow here the baby died or something. Because Hashem will go back to the old decree. You didn't keep your word? Forget it, my friend. We cannot do it. Force him to sell his businesses and move to Yerushalayim. Later I heard that all his businesses, the person he sold, the economy went down and all the businesses went to the garbage. Anyway, it went to the garbage. So either way, one way or the other, he would lose it. At least now he got the money. And now he sits and learns Torah. The Gemara says, 10 people went to Olam Haba, went to heaven with their body. Which means they never died. In their life, it's like Hashem picked them up, took them with their body. They sanctified the body to such a level that the body didn't need a burial. The body became like a part of the soul. One of them is Eliyahu Hanavi. One of them is Eliezer Eved Avraham. There's few of them Goyim, kings of the Goyim. It's interesting. Not only Jews. Some of them were Goyim also. But the most important one, the last one out of all of them, was Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi is one of the Tanaim. He lived approximately 2,000 years ago. The Gemara says he was such a chacham that all the time from Moshe Rabbeinu until his time, you are talking 1300 years. 1300 years. Moshe Rabbeinu, when the angel of death, the Malach HaMavet, came to take his soul out, the angel of death couldn't win against Moshe Rabbeinu. He did not let him take his soul out. He just didn't let him. The Zohar teaching us that the angel of death have a sword. He is a huge angel, not like the rest of the angels that they have an image that you can see. If you had spiritual eyes, you can see how big they are. They have 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 wings, as the prophets described. But the angel of death is different. All of him is full of eyes. Only eyes. You see millions of eyes, big eyes. All over you look, you see eyes. And then he has an arm with a sword. And in the edge of the sword there is 1 drop. And when the angel comes to take a soul of a person, he reached his arm with the sword and pulled the soul out of the body. It's a spiritual soul. It's a spiritual sword. It's a spiritual angel. It's everything spiritual here. It's nothing physical. He pulled the soul out, and that's how the person died. This drop that goes into the mouth of a person makes the body later stink. The body smells later from that drop that the angel puts inside the person after he kills him. So the Gemara says, when the angel came to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe didn't want. So I'm sorry, I'm not ready to die. Cannot touch me. He was trying to attack him. Moshe didn't let him. Moshe was such a great chacham. The angel of death could not win. He went back to Hashem and said, I'm sorry, here is my sword. I surrender to Moshe, to your son Moshe. So that's why the Torah says that Hashem took the soul of Moshe himself, and nobody knows where Moshe was ever buried. Nobody knows. Why Hashem didn't want us to know where Moshe Rabbeinu is buried? What's the problem to have a nice, beautiful grave that everybody can go and pray there? Because Hashem knew the nature of the people. If people take a rabbi from our generation and make him into God and worshipping him and say he never died, he's alive, he's making zivugim, the parnasais depend on him, and everything they do is based on that rabbi, imagine if Moshe Rabbeinu would be around, what would happen? It would be the second God, chas v'shalom, and make a big religion out of Moshe. So Hashem didn't want it to happen, so he make Moshe Rabbeinu's burial unknown. But anyway, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi did not let the angel win him. Not only didn't let him kill him, he stole his sword, he jumped into heaven, whatever that means, I don't know. Don't take it literally. Just to give you an idea who was Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. And he swore. What did he swear? I will never come out of here. I make a swear, I'm in heaven now, and I never come out of here. That's it. Shvuah. Now the angel is stuck. 2 problems. 1, he couldn't kill him. 2nd, give me back my sword. I need it. That's my job in life. He comes back to Hashem. He says, look, this rabbi fooled me. He knows Kabbalah. He knew the tricks. He got the sword out of me. He eliminated me. This whole idea of Kamea, what's Kamea is? Kamea. First of all, don't run too much after Kamea because you don't know who wrote it. Most of the Kameot are fake. They make more damage than they help. But this is, for instance, a Kamea that Rabbi Kaduri, alav hashalom, wrote with his own hands. He was a big mekubah, so he knew what he's doing. Look at that, you don't understand 1 word. Nobody understands. You go to the professor for Hebrew in the university, tell him, please explain to me 1 word here, he doesn't know. Why? It's all names of angels. All of that. All the words we have, about 30 words here, all of them are different angels. It's secrets. This is a positive kamea. But some kamea, for instance, if a person has like epilepsy, let's say, he keeps falling or has seizures or things like that, sometimes they write a kamea and he puts it on his body, and the angel that caused that problem cannot do it because of what's this person carrying on him. Every time he comes and he sees it, it's all spiritual. It eliminates the angel. The problem is that sometimes after a period of time, that when finally the angel is hurting him, he's hurting him for all the previous time as well. It's not so simple, this whole thing. But Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi eliminated the angel and took away sword. Why do I tell you this story? Because when they came to Hashem to see what to do with him, something that this never happened in history, this was the answer of God. Go and check in the entire life of Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. If he kept all his promises, all his nedarim, everything he ever swore about, he kept 100% with never making atarat nedarim or changing his mind or not keeping his word, then there is nothing we can do. He must stay in heaven with no trial. There's nothing I can do. But if one time he did not keep his promise, take him out of there, take the sword, take everything. They went and reviewed the entire life of this Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. They never found one time that he didn't keep his promise or something that came out of his mouth. Hashem said, there's nothing we can do. Measure for measure, midah keneged midah. You were strict, everything you say you kept. Now you say that, you have to keep it. So Hashem told him, just do us a favor, return the sword to him. He has to go back to war. What am I paying him for? Give him back the sword. Hashem gave him back the sword, and that's the end of the story. You know, in Muncie used to be a rabbi, Rabbi Yaakov Kaminetsky. He was a very big tzaddik, very big chacham. Rosh Yeshivat Torah Vadat used to be. There's a lot of maybe hundreds of rabbis that you hear their names around, especially the Ashkenazi ones, are all his students. Many of them are very big rabbis today. He was the rabbi. So, one time, my rabbi, I used to teach Migmara many years ago, he was a student. So one time he told me a story. I remember I gave him a ride, so he told me an interesting story. He saw that Rabbi Yaakov Kaminetsky on Shabbat never eat fish. Everybody in Yeshiva eat fish. Ashkenazi without gefilte fish is like a car without an engine. Cannot be. What? You ever went to an Ashkenazi house for Shabbat and didn't find gefilte fish on the table? At least Friday night, Shabbat morning, Seudah Shlishi. It has to be somewhere. You know? So, the rabbi that see everybody eats gefilte fish or salmon or whatever the fish that they were eating, and he doesn't eat every Shabbat, the same story. So he came to him and said, Rabbi, I noticed that you never touch the fish. You don't like fish? He said, I love fish. So why you never eat the fish? He said, when I was 20 years old in Russia, when I was in yeshiva, one time they sent us to eat by a house, Friday night. You know, families invite Bachurim from the yeshiva to eat. So I went there, the woman served her fish. As soon as I took my first bite, I almost vomit. The taste of the fish was so bad. Right away I spit it into my napkin, and I couldn't touch the fish. Then a minute later she came out of the kitchen, she said, "Oh, Yankale, you don't like my fish?" So I told her, "No, I'm sorry, I don't eat fish at all." We didn't want to insult her. He had good intention. The Gemara said, the Torah says, Sheker l'shem shalom, it's called. Sometimes it's mitzvah to lie. If you prevent a fight between people, or you're preventing an insult of a person, or you're preventing a war that is about to start, or peace between husband and wife, you're not going to tell the husband what the wife just told you. You have to tell nice things. What, are you going to create a war now? So sometimes it's a mitzvah to lie. Not all the time, but very few times you're going to find that it's an obligation to not to change. Like, you know, the story with Abraham and Sarah. Everybody knows. Sarah said, my husband is old. How will I become pregnant? And Hashem came to Abraham and he said, why your wife say that she's old? She didn't say she's old. She said, my husband is old. And Hashem didn't want to tell Abraham, your wife said that you're old, you cannot have kids. So he changed the words. Why Sarah say that she's old? Ha'ipaleh me Hashem davar, there's anything that I cannot do. See, Hashem changed the words. Why? Not to create a... Of course, Abraham wouldn't go and argue with his wife if she said that he's old. Especially when it was true. Just not to create an inconvenience, Hashem changed the words. So Rabbi Yaakov Kaminetsky told her, I don't eat fish. And that's how he got out of it. The next Shabbat, when he went somewhere and they served fish, he was about to eat the fish, he started to think, if I'm eating that fish now, then retroactive, what I said a week ago will become a lie. And I'm so careful never to say a lie in my life. So I don't eat the fish. So he says, and then he was about 80 when he told it to my Rav, the last years of his life. 60 years approximately, did not eat one of his most favorite food, not to have one lie in his life. Not to be liar 1 minute in his life. We do not know what we say more, true or lies. If you put our lies and the truth on a scale every day, not once every 60 years, I think that the scale will break to one side. I'm not saying which side. I leave it to you. When someone is a tzaddik, amiti, how important it is to watch what comes out of his mouth, you know. Somebody told me a few days ago, that was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, my friend calls me up, I just sent you an email, go and open it and sit on the floor and cry. I got very curious. Right away I turned my computer on, I opened the email, he sends me the email. What's the email? Group of girls from yeshiva for girls in Israel, together, all of them together, big yeshiva for banot, seminary for girls in Israel, all ultra religious from birth, all of them, send a letter, I don't want to say to which rabbis, to the chief rabbis, the most important rabbis in the world, complaining about the horrible situation of the shidduchim in a Jewish world. Finding your soulmate become an impossible mission now. I'm not talking by Chilonim. Chilonim, she goes to the supermarket to buy milk, he goes to the supermarket to buy cheese, she move her tail, he move his tail, 2 minutes later, the husband and wife. They don't have to check, the father, the mother, all these things. She sees a nice car, he sees a nice look, right away, the husband and wife 2 days later. Way before they know about the rabbi and the ceremony, fine, that's the style. They met in a park, they met in a bus, 2 minutes later, okay, they're already moving. But that's the world of the goyim and the world of the chilonim. That's how they choose to live. That's it. I'm not talking about this kind of people. I'm talking people who grew up all their life according to the Torah. They don't know any other way. Which means the girls will never speak to a guy unless it will be an official date for a shadchan, for a third party, or for the rabbi, or the rebbitzin. Or, you know, everything is according to the halakha. It's mamash, there's no surprises here. It's working mamash like a system. They send a letter to the rabbis complaining about all the talmidei chachamim, all the young guys in yeshivot that learn and they know a lot of Torah. The better Torah you know, the more demands you have. So they complain why the Rashi Yeshivot, the heads of the yeshivas, it's not only in Israel, this problem is all over the world, but mainly in Israel, they educate their students, if they're very well known, you know, they're knowledgeable in Torah, so they tell them when you come, when they offer you a shidduch, you have to say that you want an apartment with furniture, ready to go and support for 6-7 years in advance, that they commit to you, that you can sit and learn Torah, you don't have to worry about parnasa, and make sure that the apartment is walking distance from our yeshiva. Don't agree in another neighborhood. You're going to have to start schlepping with buses and things like this. You want to come out of your home, you want to walk 4 or 5 blocks, and you want to come to the yeshiva. He wants him here because he's a shining diamond student. So that's the situation. Which means, based on such thinking, every father that has girls and is not a millionaire cannot ever marry his daughters to normal a scholar, somebody who knows Torah, only to Amei Aratzot, to business people, not to somebody who knows Torah. And because of that, thousands of girls, 25, 26 years old, in the religious world is already very, very old. It's not like the regular world, that 26 you only begin to think, I want to get married. By there, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, you stretched it already. More than that, the family is already not sleeping well at night. You see, it's a lot of pressure. That's the world of the religious people. So they were sure that the chief rabbis will come up with an announcement that they're not agreeing to this thing. But in the end, they got a major disappointment. They did nothing about it. They gave them some kind of excuses. You have to pray more, you have to do this, and did nothing about it. Just when I got it 2 days ago, someone sent me an email today. What do you think about that problem that we have in the Shidduchim, for the girls who wants to get married, her father has to prepare an apartment in advance? A day after the letter. So I answered him, the religious world is very sick. There's a major sickness. One of the problems among that sickness is this, but it's not the only problem. I don't want to go into details, what do I think? Who am I to talk compared to these big rabbis? But everyone is entitled to say his opinion. Situation only become worse. Which means, if it's going to continue like this, we're going to have many beautiful, nice tzadikot girls that don't get married. Why? Because their father is a bus driver. Or because the father is a plumber that works for somebody, and that's his sin in life. That he's not a millionaire. It's become very ugly. I just want you to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the end sees everything. Doesn't matter. Even if it was the advice of the rabbis, everybody here knows that the system is not correct. Something is not right here. It cannot create a world like the non-religious people or the goyim that only if you're wealthy you count. If you're not wealthy, you're nothing. It cannot be. This is against the religion. It's against the foundation of Judaism. What are we doing? Copying the goyim? So what's the point of all this religion? What's the point of the religion? That only the rich people can get married? That's why a lot of these wealthy people are getting divorced instantly. You have no idea what they raise in the divorce cases in all these spoiled kids that their parents are loaded and they marry them together. Almost nowhere it's successful. There's a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Why? Maybe it's because of the way they're brought up. They don't understand what marriage is all about. They're too spoiled. Maybe because of that. My opinion is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very angry at the system. It must be changed. It just has to be changed. You cannot continue like this. It should have been the other way around. Every wealthy person should have looked, if one side is wealthy, you should have looked at the other side will not be wealthy. What's the problem? You have enough. What do you need wealthy with wealthy? The opposite. If you take a girl that she wasn't growing up wealthy, she has a much better values. She's a harder working girl. She appreciates things. Whatever you give her, she will be grateful. There's a lot of advantages that she has that the other spoiled girl doesn't have. Or the other way around with guys. Same thing. But no. We want our class. I see by some community that I speak there sometimes great shidduchim are being offered. And then one family, which is high society more than the other, no, their family is not for us. We are from this city and they are from that city. No. And the boy, the poor guy, has no choice. If he will cooperate with his father in a good way, no, as he lost his beautiful girl and he has to give up his shidduch. And then you find out 20 years later that he's 50 years old and still single. That's what happened to them in the end. If he wants to fight against his father's decision, what's going to be always the reaction? 2 days later, the credit card are cancelled. A month later, the lease is taken away. The BMW is not waiting for him already. The next thing is say you have to move out and live on your own. The father doesn't leave him a choice. How many kids are hero to stand for the truth? That's the right decision. The girl is righteous, and I don't care if her father is rich or not. I marry her without your BMW. You want to pay for the wedding? Fine. You don't want? We'll make a wedding with 10 people in a little restaurant. We'll call up the rabbi. I'm sure the rabbi will volunteer when he see where they get married. He won't charge anything. And everything would cost $1,000. Everything. With the ring, with everything. Everything. The whole wedding. And some people will bring gifts. They cover the wedding. We rent a little room and we live. And we build up our life. Hashem has plenty of money. If He wants to make us rich, He will make us rich. I promise you. Try it. You see that your parents will back up. Why? It's a big embarrassment for them that you marry like this. In the end, they'll give the money anyway. It's all about show off. Go, I want you to be a doctor. Why? I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't like to see blood, to cut people's... I don't like to be a dentist to smell people's garlic and onion that they ate all day. Or if the Indians with the curry, it goes from 5 miles away. I don't want it. It's not. So what? I'll make $1,000 an hour, but I'm not going to be happy every day. It's not a job for me. No. You have to be a doctor. Your cousin is a doctor. Your other cousin is a doctor. What everybody's going to say about us? So the show. Most of the parents who send their kids to college is that they can brag about them. But if you thought that in a religious world is much better, it's not always much better. Everybody think, what yeshiva we're going to get our son to that we can brag? My son is in this yeshiva. My son is in that yeshiva. Just in case you didn't know, the biggest Talmid Chacham in the world, in the Ashkenazi world at least, is Rabbi Yosef. He's 100 years old. He didn't learn in yeshiva. Everything he knows, he learned on his own. Check. Once my cousin came to the yeshiva, and his students comes to him and say, Rabbi, this guy wants a bracha from you. See, guy's in his 20s. And he said, no, you realize right away that today they're overexcited. Many times they come, Rabbi, give bracha to this guy, give bracha to this guy. Nobody gets excited. But that day he felt everyone is excited. So he said, wow, what happened? He said, no, Rabbi, this is a grandson of Rabbi Yashiv, 4th generation. The son of the grandson, 4th generation. So he says, you are the grandson of Rabbi Yashiv, you come to me for bracha? Your father, the most important person in the world. Why do you need my bracha? He said, no, I heard a lot about you, this and that. So he said, but besides, I want to tell you about my grandfather. He's home alone, and they asked me to live by him for a few months, to take care of his needs, if he needs something, to serve him, to drink, to buy for him, whatever. 4 months I'm living by him. 4 months I live by him. Believe me, it's not a mansion that sometimes it takes half a year until you find your child in the house. We're not talking about this. It's a very tiny apartment. Maybe a quarter of this big shul, not even. It's very small. In the internet you can see it. Somebody filmed it and put it on one of their websites. He said, 4 months I'm with him every day in the house, and he did not speak to me one word in 4 months. 1 word. He's not even in this world bichlal. I'm here, I'm coming in, I'm coming out, I'm there, I'm standing in front of him, he doesn't even look at it. He's in his own world. You understand what's going on? How do you think you become the biggest chacham in the world? How? By going to the library in 5th Avenue? Going to Harvard? How you become the biggest chacham in the world? You come every morning to the same yeshiva, to the same chair. You have the stand there waiting for you with your books. 60 years, from morning to night, the same schedule, the same piece of bread with a little bit water or coffee or 1 tomato. 1 minute breakfast, 1 minute dinner, no lunch, no time for lunch. All day learning. 60 years. That's how you become the biggest chacham in the world. And there's no other ways. You think you're going to go and sell the gold in 47, you'll be the biggest chacham in the world? In business, maybe yes. But not in Torah. Rabbi, but the Torah says, Im en kemach en Torah. What's the rest of the verse? Im en Torah en kemach. Depends who you are. If you're an average person, you live by nature, Im en kemach en Torah. You're right, you need to work. If you're a believer, and you dedicate your life to be 100% like Hashem wants you to be, you don't need to worry ever about kemach. You don't worry about it. You're hungry, you're not hungry, it doesn't bother you. The Chazon Ish was sitting and learning 3 days without eating and without sleeping. For 3 days. And one time he said, I never felt hunger in my whole life. 3 days you don't eat. We don't eat one day in Yom Kippur. At 4 o'clock we're already like this. Ana Hashem, 4 more hours. Hatati, 3 more hours. Every 5 seconds, look at what. Right, we're already fasting 20 hours. Headache, especially if you're addicted to coffee. The headache begins at 2 o'clock. 3 days, the Chazon Ish is up, learning straight. And he said, I never felt hunger in my life. You know why you feel hunger? Because you have time to think about it. If your mind is all occupied, I'll give you an example. Let's say a person has back pain. He got the cold, I don't know what. For 3 days he cannot move. Oh, my back. He wants to bend down. You hear everywhere, my back, my back, my back, all day. What happens if you take a baseball bat and smash his knee? What happened to the back pain? It's gone. Now the brain is busy with the knee. The back doesn't hurt anymore. He cannot walk. But if he needs to bend down to pick up his key, 1, 2, 3, he picks it up. No more back pain. Why? Nothing changed, because it's all in the head. The brain of a person, it's like a little midget that's sitting inside your head, a captain of the boat. And he fly the plane, not the boat, the plane. Makes it more interesting. There's a lot of buttons. It reminds me, somebody made a joke. He says, what marriage is all about? So he showed a board, on the wall this board, thousands of switches. They share the board, the board to 2 halves. They write man on top and on the bottom woman. Each one has a half. In the section of the woman, there's thousands of switches. Switches, buttons, lights, all kinds of things. In the section of the men, 1 master switch. You can do whatever you want over there. I open my wallet or not, that's the master switch. We're going to buy this, we're going to do this. In the end, honey, I'm not in the mood for your shopping this month. The switch is Swedish, no problem. You can play with the switches. Well, that's a joke. How did we get to the joke? Huh? How did we find ourselves here? Maybe it's time to finish. Huh? You disapprove? You don't approve? No. So the brain, it's like a little captain sitting in the head of a person. Whatever you teach him to do, he will do. If you teach him that when you lift heavy things, it's supposed to create pain in the back, it will send pain to the back. If you will teach him that if you don't have $2 million in your bank account, you're a poor person, he would react like a poor person that worried that tomorrow he doesn't have what to eat. Many poor people that were collecting money, when they died, they found out they have loads of cash. They had enough to live for 30 years. But they're so worried about the future. Wow. Why? That's what they taught their brain. So the brain is worried. And when a person is worried, what happened? What happened when he's worried? He has to work extra hours. He has to fly to another convention. He has to take another job. He has to wake up at 5 in the morning to be in the office. Maybe there's another case. He's fighting. He's screaming. Why? It's not enough that he has enough money to live until age 5,000. It's not enough, because in his mind he's poor. That's why the Pirkei Avot say, Ezehu ha'ashir hasameach bechelko. That your brain knows, I have enough. I'm perfect. I have what to eat, I have what to wear. What Yaakov Avinu say to Hashem? Yaakov Avinu made a neder. That's how I started the lecture about nedarim. The Gemara say, never make neder. Don't make nedarim. It's not good. When you are allowed to make a neder, in times of problems, when your life is, when you're hanging between life and death, when God forbid is a big surgery or something like this, a person can make a neder that if Hashem will cure his boy or himself or his wife or whatever the case is, going to give a lot of tzedakah to this place. Why it's good? Because maybe the decree was that this person, chas v'shalom, should die. But Hashem is very interested that this yeshiva will get $1 million. So because he made a neder, it's worth it for Hashem to leave this boy another 40 years here, that this yeshiva will have enough money. You understand how it works? That's the power of neder in a time of problem. Now Yaakov Avinu, he says to Hashem, if you give me something to wear, something to eat, everything you give me, I'll give you maaser, 10%. He didn't ask for more than that, just to eat and something to wear. In the Torah, when Hashem wanted to praise the miracles that he made for the Jews, so he said to them, 40 shana simlatcha lo balta me'alecha. 40 years you didn't need to change your outfit. 40 years they wore one suit. No Gucci, Armani, Amigo, whatever their names are. Every hour somebody new comes to the world. Tahari, Teherani, Irani, whatever. All the Persians became Italians all of a sudden. Yes, and they're very successful in the garment industry. Talented, they learn quickly, and they got into the top of the pyramid. But according to Hashem, when are you a greater person? That every 5 hours you change your clothes? Or when you wear the same clothes for 40 years? When you wear the same clothes, that's a greater level. Why? You don't have any need for physical thing. Why people like, I'm not talking humid, it's all wrinkled, it's all ripped already, it's sweaty, it smells. Okay, it's big mitzvah to always be top of the line, look normal, look decent, clean, not to sweat. Like some religious people, they don't pay attention to how much they smell, because they walk with 5 different jackets. In Bnei Brak, it's very, very humid. It's 90% humidity, 100 degrees almost every day there. They go on buses, they pick up stuff, they cannot afford a car. Obviously, you cannot expect him every hour to go to take a shower, because it doesn't matter. As soon as you come out of the shower, 5 minutes later, you're all dripping sweat. This is Tel Aviv, this is Bnei Brak, this is Miami. There are cities like this in the world. But at least before you go to sleep, it's a... How can you even think that a person after a full day walking around in the streets, sweating, all his hair is greasy, his whole thing, going to sleep like this, changing to pajama in the morning, put some perfume and deodorant and goes back like everything is fine? Everybody around him has to suffer? I used to see people like this in yeshiva. For all day I couldn't learn because I was just thinking about one thing in my mind, to say or not to say, to say or not to say. So I used to say it in a hint. When you want to tell your friend something that you're embarrassed to say, what do? Without hurting him, without insulting him. You write him an anonymous letter. And tell all the truth in that letter. Anyway, he doesn't know it's you. You want to help him. My friend, you smell horrible. Stop with your raw garlic every morning just because the doctor told you it's good antibiotic and you live until 100. It's better you live until 70 and the people around you will also live. It's not fair you want to live and everybody else will die. You know, the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Rabbi, the legendary Rabbi, 120 years of Torah and wisdom. He gave a shiur in the yeshiva. In the middle of the shiur, one of the students ate garlic. He says, someone who ate garlic, please leave the room. One of the guys got up, he was about to leave. Everybody looks at him, eat garlic? Everybody, the student didn't want him to be embarrassed. All of them got up and left. So now you don't know really who ate garlic. The next day, his son saw the guy on the street. He said, shame on you. You ruined my father's shiur yesterday in the yeshiva. So he said, I swear to you, I didn't eat garlic. So why did you get up? So I didn't want the real guy to be embarrassed, so I took the blame on me. Today it's the opposite. Today you go to the class, I want to know who threw an egg on the head of Mora Rivka. Nobody makes a word. Nobody gets up. If you don't tell me by 2 o'clock, all of you will stay here for a whole week. We cancel your trip, you do this, we do that. Nobody say anything. Even if they see that an innocent person is about to be blamed, they still don't make a big. But in the old days it was the opposite. As soon as they say, who did that? Everybody jumped, me. It's me. So, we learn from here one thing, that the great legendary Rav, Rabbi, it bothered him very much. And he said to the guy, get up and leave. Why? To insult him? No. To teach them a lesson. That to be a decent human being is just as important, or maybe even more, than to be knowledgeable in Torah. That was the message. And when Hillel, they saw him leaving yeshiva in the middle of the day and running home, and he told him, Rabbi, where are you going in the middle of the day? You're running so quick. He said, I run to do a mitzvah. So all the students know that the Rav is in the middle of the day running to do a mitzvah. They all follow him. What mitzvah in the middle of the day that he leaves the yeshiva and he runs home? They all followed him. He has in the back of his house a hole, a mikveh. He see him taking a shower. After that, he gets dressed and he goes back to the yeshiva. So, Rabbi, where is the mitzvah that you said? Say, well, you followed me? Yeah. What did you find? We saw you taking a shower and going right back to the yeshiva. That's the mitzvah. To be clean. Don't have to suffer around me. You understand? Or, I'll give you another example. In a shul, you have two kinds of daveners. Some who davens, everything fine, and some elephants. Elephants. No, who got the hint? What noise elephants make? Yeah, the whole shul. In the middle of 18, 15 times. Silence. Go outside and clean your nose. I don't have to hear all this shofar. It's not Rosh Hashanah. I have something stuck in my nose, Rabbi. Go outside and clean it. In the middle of the shul. Not to talk that 50% of the time the tissue stayed on the table until tomorrow. For the rabbi to come the next day to clean. I have news for you. There are some times that you're allowed to live in the middle of 18 and walk. For instance, if somebody came to the shul and he cannot find Siddur. So let's say you know by heart the 18 and there's no more Siddurim. You can walk to him, give him your Siddur, come back to your place and continue. So we find that there are occasions that you're allowed to walk in the middle of 18. If your baby starts to scream, the mistake was that you brought a kid younger than 5 years old to the shul. It's not a mitzvah, it's averah. It's a sin to bring kids to the shul. Why? First of all, if you think that you're educating them, you are wrong. In this age, they don't understand shul, not shul. For them, they want to lay on the floor, they want to run, they want to see kids outside to run. They don't understand yet davening. But because they are bored, they're bothering everybody else. Everybody else. They move the chairs, they move this, they walk around, they go here, they go in and out 20 times, and they cry, and the father has to talk to them, and they ask questions, and they want food. Where is mommy? What's the point? Not to talk guys that bring girls into the men's section, and with all her skirts coming up, she sits like this in front of everyone. This is Chilul Hashem. But that's what happened. Sometimes when you go to places, the Rav is afraid of the community. They make him like a puppet there. If he makes 1 or 2 warnings, they kick him out of the window. Let's call the Reform Rabbi to replace you. That reminds me, one guy came to the Reform Rabbi and said, Rabbi, don't ask. My son went on a trip to Israel, and they made him put a tzitzit. They told him it's every second mitzvah. Now he walks with his tzitzit. I'm afraid the next thing is going to put a yarmulke. So the rabbi said, don't worry, he's a teenage. He's excited a little bit. 2-3 weeks, he'll get rid of it. It's hot anyway now, August. The Reform Rabbi is warning his congregation member. Don't worry, we'll go. Few months later, his other son went on a trip. Now he came back with a tzitzit and a yarmulke. So Rabbi, don't ask, double trouble. He said, what? Tzitzit and yarmulke. I said, don't worry, it's excitement, same thing, it's gonna go away. Few months later, he sent his other son to the trip. Now he calls him up. He said, I want to stay here in yeshiva for a few months. He comes to the rabbi. He said, Rabbi, don't ask. Tzitzit, kippah, and wants to stay in the yeshiva for a few months. The rabbi said, oh, now it's a big problem. Bring me your mezuzot. We have to check your mezuzot. Something went wrong. Yeah. And then when he murdered his wife, you see all over CBS News, the rabbi murdered his wife. The Goyim don't understand what does it mean, Reform Rabbi. In their mind, the chief rabbi of Israel and the Reform Rabbi from their neighborhood is the same thing. They don't understand the Chelat Amin HaEnoshi, and this is the most important person in the world. They don't understand this one has a boyfriend and eat pork on Yom Kippur by playing piano in his synagogue. They don't understand that they make the Torah toilet paper. They step on the Torah as they play piano on Yom Kippur. They step on the Torah. What's Yom Kippur? Some of them maybe come with a pipe to the service. Rabbi, Yom Kippur, you know. They serve lunch. Yeah, on Yom Kippur they serve lunch. Joseph and Christine eating lunch together by listening to the rabbi playing piano in temple, whatever. No wonder the trees fell on them a few days ago. The world is full of illusions and lies that it's mamash. Sometimes it's so disgusting, you can't see it anymore. Mamash is mamash aggravating. People make mistakes, people have yetzer hara, evil inclination. We all make sins every hour. I'm not trying to be Eliyahu Navi here. But there's a difference between a sin that your desire forces you to do than to come and take the Torah and say, this does not exist, doesn't exist, doesn't exist. And that's what happened. Before we finished, few more things before we finished. Two kids were fighting between them. One calls his friend, you're fatso. You're fat. The other one say, you're ugly. You're fat, you're ugly. You're fat, you're ugly. All day like this. The rabbi passed by. The rabbi say, kids, you're not ashamed of yourself? This is how Jewish kids behave. You're fat, you're ugly. This is how you talk to your friend. Start giving them a whole lecture. After the rabbi finished his lecture, he thought maybe they'll be embarrassed. So one of them said, okay, Rabbi, fine, we got your musar, but please tell us, what's worse? To be fat or to be ugly? He asked the rabbi. So the rabbi said, what do you think the answer is? I'm talking halacha now, reality-wise. Let's see if you're clever. Use your head. What's worse? If you have to choose one of them, which one you have to choose? To be overweight tremendously, or Hashem Yerachem to look like a monkey? Which one of the two? It's better or worse? I don't know, in this generation all the monkeys got all the Miss Universe.
No control. Also, says don't judge on the outside.
I tell you, I have a proof for you from the Gemara. A proof. That what? That to be ugly is worse than to be fat. Wow. Common sense, fat can change the situation. 1 month of serious diet is not fat anymore. Ugly, whatever he's going to do is not going to be. He's going to follow Michael Jackson's step, he become uglier after paying millions of dollars for plastic surgery. Usually it makes you more ugly. We didn't find doctors that really knows how to make plastic surgeries. They claim they do, but... So, I have a proof from the Torah, not common sense. Torah, mamash from the Gemara. Where? Did you hear about Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon? He was very, very heavy. The Gemara says, in Chodesh Tammuz, now, Tammuz is now, we just had 17 Tammuz. You know how humid it is in Israel. Forget it, it's boiling oven. Like today and yesterday here, every day is like this in the summer in Israel. They took 2 buckets of fat out of his body. 2 buckets, what we call today liposuction, they made. The Gemara said they put him on a marble. Marble is sterilized. It's easy to sterilize marble. That's why in surgery they always use it. They put him on there and they took out from his body 2 buckets full of fat. Then they saw that the fat that they took out of his body did not smell and there were no worms. Like usually when they leave it out in such a weather, a day or 2 later, there's millions of worms out there. So he said, Baruch Hashem. When he died, he told his wife, don't bury me. Put me in the attic for 22 years. 22 years his body was in the attic, it did not smell. No worms, no nothing. Complete. In the heat of Israel, 22 years in his attic. Until the city next, they realized, one time she saw a worm come out of his ear. She got very nervous. Wow, he's starting to have worms inside. I have to bury him. He came to her in a dream. He said, no, don't worry. You don't have to bury me. This worm that came out of my ear is because I one time listened to somebody speak bad to the rabbi and I did not stand and demonstrate. I listened to this. I did not say anything. That's my punishment. But don't worry. But when the people found out that he's there, they didn't let bury him. When she agreed to bury him, the people from next town, they became very rich over the 20 years that he was there. So they felt that he's their lucky guy. His body over there brings them blessing. So when they took him to the funeral, they were standing, blocking the way. You keep him back in the attic. All these, we didn't have tragedies, every business is booming. Keep him in the attic, we cannot take risks. So they bury him 1 hour before the fast of Yom Kippur. Why? Everybody was busy with the fast, mikveh, this, preparing for the fast. Quietly they took him, they buried him. But before that, they took 2 buckets of fat out of his body. The Gemara said before they made him the surgery, he was walking on a donkey. After he learned Torah for many years, he felt that he's in the moon already. He's like in heaven. He walked in a street with his donkey and he see a very ugly man. And he said to this ugly man, you ugly man, how can it be that you're so ugly? So the guy got very offended. He said, why don't you go to the artist who designed my face and ask him, how did he design such a bad picture? So he realized right away that he made a big sin. So he said, no, forgive me, I'm sorry, I don't know what went through my mind, I'm please begging you, forgive me. He said, no, I don't want to forgive you. So he followed him the whole way, he's following, begging him, forgive me, and this guy stubborn, no, you offended me, I'm not forgiving you, forget it. When they got to town, you see hundreds of people coming, Rabbi, it's the son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He was a giant Talmid Chacham. He buried next to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in Meron. See 2 graves there. He's one of them. Rabbi. So the ugly man said, who are you calling Rabbi? So the one behind you on the donkey is a big rabbi. He said, this is a rabbi. If this is a rabbi, man, no rabbis would be in Israel. So why you talk like this? He called me ugly and this. He said, no, forgive him, he's a great man. So after convincing him, he said, okay, I'm not forgiving him for him. I forgive you for your honor, the community. So I forgive him. So the Gemara said from this, he said, that's why you write Sifrei Torah in mezuzot with kaneh, which is soft. La'olam ya'yeh adam rach ka'kaneh velo kashe ka'erez. Erez, it's a hard tree. You don't use it for mezuzot because it's not flexible. Kaneh, it's soft. It's beautiful writing. It's much easier to write Sefer Torah. Why? Don't be hard to forgive. Easy, be easy going. 1, 2, 3 times the most, forgive. If you be easy with the people to forgive, Hashem will be easy with you and forgive a lot of your sins. If you be tough with them, makpid, Hashem is tough with you, measure for measure. Why do I tell you this story? To prove that ugly is worse than fat. Because if fat was worse than ugly, this Chacham wouldn't dare to come to him, hey, you ugly one! You 1 pound and you're telling me ugly? Obviously, to be fat wasn't a big issue. That's why he had the confidence to come to him and say, hey, you. Everything has the answer in the Torah. Sometimes it's hard, you don't know. But I thought, when I heard that question, that the reason that fat is no problem because the person, if he really works on himself, 1 or 2 months the most, he can lose most of it. Today they have a special surgery. They take a little piece of plastic, they go around the stomach, they tie it. 6 months later, a person that was 300 pounds became 100 pounds. Can eat even if they want. They become very, very thin. Hashem has mercy on us. He knows we don't have a power of will. We cannot fight with our desires. Everything we see, we want to eat. Rabbi, they open another restaurant. Every restaurant to open, grand opening, is always packed. Why? Free food. Everybody goes, what's the big deal? Free meal. Why you have to go there and sweat with all the people? Maybe they give you a plate of some, I don't know what. What's the big deal? You saw in the wedding when they serve the dessert, what happened in the wedding? It's officially the end of the wedding. The dance floor in 1 second become empty. It's like they open a vacuum on the side of the hall, and it's vacuum everybody to the side. Why? They put some watermelon and cream cakes. Why? I gave $200 a gift, I won't eat the dessert? Come on, Rabbi, I'll erase 1 0 from my check. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. 3 things shorten the life of a person. Be careful never to do it. What is it? מי שנותנים לו ספר תורה לקרוא ואינו קורא. They call him up to the Torah and he doesn't want to go up. When is it? By the Ashkenazim is much more dangerous. Why? Because the Ashkenazim name the person. Ploni ben Ploni. Yamod, Yosef ben David. Once they say his name and he say, no, I don't want, that's a problem. By Sfaradim, because of this, they don't say the names. They say Amod, whatever his name, and that's it. And after they make him Misheberach. If they did not say the name and he refused to go up, it's not shortening his life. It's not, he's losing a mitzvah here, but he's not risking his life to be shortened. By how much, we don't know. By 1 day, by 1 hour, by 1 week. Only Hashem knows. But that's one thing. Second, when they do Zimun and Birkat Hamazon, and they give a person kos shel bracha, when 3 people or 10 people gather together, when they make Birkat Hamazon, is mitzvah to bring wine, to fill it up all the way to the top, put 3 drops of water, because wine is judgment and water is mercy, so you put mercy inside the judgment, and you make one of them say, Havlan v'nivrich lemalkai la kadisha, or in Ashkenazi they say, Rabotai fil benchen, or Rabotai nevarech. It doesn't matter, it's the same thing. Let's bench Hashem, let's bless Hashem for the food that He gave us, and everybody say Baruch Hashem. If it's 10, they say the name of Hashem. If not, they don't say the name of Hashem. So if they give you usually they give it to the Kohen or to the Chacham. If there's Kohen, usually they give to the Kohen. If there's no Kohen, they try to give to the oldest, to the one who knows more Torah. They give him the out of respect. So if they give it to him and he doesn't want, not because he wants to respect somebody else. Say, no, give it to this one. 2 rabbis. They argue, no, you take, that's no problem. I say, they want to give you to make the bracha, no, I don't want. No, I don't want. That's also risky. And what is the third thing? Somebody who like to play a rabbi. I'm a big shot here. I'm the rabbi here. Nobody say anything besides me here. Why you ask him when I'm here? Why when I got in you didn't rise? What's going on here? One rabbi, he went to a city in Europe, in Vilna. I was in Vilna. No, not in Vilna. In one small town in Europe. He was the rabbi of the community for about 8 months. And they giving him a nightmare, the community over there. Everything he says, they argue. Prove it. I don't want. No, you're too strict. Wow, we need a lenient rabbi here. We cannot take this, rabbi. After 8 months, he said to his wife, Kadima, pack the whole house. Tomorrow we'll tell them in the shul that we're leaving. I can't be here another minute. She said, you sure? I said, yes, that's it. It's not for me. After everything was on a carriage, he came to the shul. Ladies and gentlemen, Baruch Hashem, you're getting rid of me today. Tonight, I'm out of here. Oh, no, Rabbi, why? No, why? No, that's it. Okay, at least don't leave without us. We want to walk you through. It's mitzvah to walk with the guests outside. I said, no problem. 5 o'clock I leave. So when the rabbi came out of the town, they all followed him. Hundreds of people, the whole town. They follow him with his horse. They come with their donkeys and horses and walking. As they exit the town, the rabbi turned around and said, what a beautiful town. I will never forget such a nice, holy, beautiful, pure town. So one of them said, Rabbi, don't be a hypocrite. For 8 months you didn't stop complaining about how lousy is this town, how impure is this, tameh, tum'ah. Now all of a sudden it's tahor, kadosh, what a kadosh town. So he said to them, you fools, everything I've been saying for the last 8 months, it was 100% true. It was tameh, it was insane, it was rishut, it was horrible. So they said, so what changed in a minute? He said, all of you came out. When you were inside, it's tameh, it's horrible, it's dirty. Now all the dirt came out. Look how beautiful, pure it became. You understand? I'm not changing my mind. You have to change. You have to make tshuva. It's about time to get out of the fake life. Believe me, all these Jews that live the fake life, the show-off life, with all these fancy cars and fur coats and perfume and jewelry and take me here, take me there. Gerson, please, the steak is not well done enough. Take me on a yacht. Why the yacht is only $100,000? We can afford something better. They are dreaming. They're religious. They are dreaming. I heard now one guy, I don't want to say from where because it's a famous case. He made a Sheva Brachot to his son on a yacht in Manhattan. Wow. God forbid, without the yacht, how can we do Sheva Brachot? Special invitation, black tie, come to a boat for Sheva Brachot. Invite. What's going on here? The money that he spent on that night on the yacht probably was $200,000 to take everyone on a private yacht with food, with waiters. Just imagine how many Jews we could save with this $200,000. If we make a normal Sheva Brachot for $2,000-$3,000 in his house, or his brother's house, and take the rest of the money and donate to save some Jews, to bring them to seminars, to give them CDs, to wake them up. We make about 100 of them Shomer Shabbat. What's better? To go on a stupid yacht and to see the lights of Manhattan, or to save 200 souls with the same money, or 2,000? It's a game of number. But for the yacht, the Satan is encouraging. Take back a shot, and nobody will never forget your Sheva Brachot. They will say that your Sheva Brachot was the best, even better than the weddings. Everyone who wants to marry his kids is thinking, what grandiose things we're going to make that nobody will ever forget us. I have news for all these fools. An hour after the wedding, 99% of that is forgotten. Not only by the people, even you will forget about it. The album of the pictures and the video is disposable. You watch it once and it's over. You watch it once and it's over. The last minute for this lecture, because time is up. A couple that got married, they waited 3 weeks for the video. Once they got the video, they're all excited. Why? And the night of the wedding, what's the worst thing can happen to a husband and wife newlywed that just came out of the chuppah? What's the worst thing can happen? Somebody stole all the checks and all the cash. Bag full of checks, cash. In Israel they give a lot of cash, so it's a done deal. Checks, you can call, cancel. A lot of cash is gone. They're very upset. They're not rich. They need the money. They have to pay for the hall, the catering, the band. The money is gone. Disaster. They go home depressed. They call the police all night. What a honeymoon. All night searching for the bag. In the end, it's gone. 3 weeks later, they get the video. The girl said to her husband, maybe we get lucky. You see, the video is having a wide range. Maybe we'll see who stole. Look, the bag is right there, you see? Maybe we get lucky, we'll see who stole the bag. As they come to the moment, you see, the bag will be stolen in 2 minutes. That's where we were still stalking here. 2 minutes later, it's gone. Just when they come to the moment that the bag was stolen, they hear a chair collapsing on the floor. Everybody turn around. You know, in Israel, the floor is strong stone, like marble. Somebody's head, boom, on the floor, fainted. Everybody looks at him. At the same time, at the screen, what do they see? The father of the bride coming, take the bag, put it under his jacket, goes like this, run quickly somewhere. 5 minutes later, he comes back in front of the video, call the police. Who? Such a rasha, he stole the thing, check, everyone. Soon as they show it, he was sitting with them in a living room. When he saw he's coming to the bag, he knew what's going to happen in 5 seconds. The embarrassment, he couldn't take it. He collapsed and fainted. This was for one sin. Stealing, one sin. Imagine the feeling of a person when he comes after 120 years in front of Hashem and he begins to hear all the sins that he made from his bar mitzvah until now. 1 million, 5 million, 17 million, 500 million, 15 billion sins, one after the other. Over there you don't need time. It's all going fast. Fast. One after the other. But over there is very clear. Because every sin, over here when a person makes a sin, usually within seconds he forgets about it. If he turns the light on Shabbat, Shabbat, wow. Shabbat, Chilalti Shabbat, wow. A minute later, baby Hamud, come to Abba. If you had Yirat Shamayim for 2 weeks, you cannot move. Chilalti Shabbat, Oti v'Niu v'Nechem, it's a covenant between the Master of Universe to the nation of the Jews. Chilalti, I broke the covenant. For a year I could freeze. A minute later, over there you see the results of the sin. That's the problem. Over here you don't see the results of the sin. Somebody asks you, how is this guy? Should I get married to his daughter? Not, you didn't say anything. I'm not in a mood, forget about it. You cancel the wedding. Come to Shamayim. Look what you did. Because of that, they both stayed single. They didn't have kids. If they get married, this kid will be the chief rabbi, thousands of students. There'll be another 100 yeshivot in the world. So much more Torah. You prevented everything by going like this. You see, wow, that's what I did? How am I going to correct such a thing? Too late, my friend. There's no way to correct. Over there, a person realizes he eats not kosher, an hour later he makes a horrible sin. He doesn't see the connection. Contaminate the soul by eating not kosher, then he makes a horrible sin. He doesn't see the connection. Now he understands that meat that I ate in that restaurant, they told me be careful, it may not be kosher. But I didn't care. Look at what happened from it. I made that sin and then somebody died. What? Because of few bites of horrible piece of meat that I ate. All of a sudden you see somebody died because of it. And so many things that we do every day, all of a sudden a person will see remember this father, he just saw such an embarrassment. He couldn't take it. There's a switch in the body. Before you get a heart attack, you faint first. It's one step before to save the life of a person. So he faint, he loses consciousness for a few minutes. It brings him back to normal. Otherwise, another minute he gets a heart attack. Can't take it. Where are we going to faint over there? There's no way to faint. The soul is there. The soul cannot faint. The body can faint. The soul cannot faint. There's nowhere to hide. One Yemenite guy made a tape. He said, I was hoping there will be a table that I can hide underneath. There's nowhere to hide. It's not like the baby. When the baby does something wrong, you go to him. What does the baby do? They go like this. You go from the other side, he goes like this. You come, he turns around. Ah! Why? He cannot look at you. You told him, don't touch, and he touch, and you call him. You see what the baby do. You look at him, he cannot look at you. He turns his face, try it. The embarrassment kills him. Over there, there's nowhere to hide. Bezrat Hashem, we are getting close to Elul. Elul. Tammuz, Av, Elul. Av is starting soon, 1 month. Chodesh HaRachamim VaSlichot. I said in one of my lectures 50 years ago, when Chodesh Elul started, the Gabbai in the shul used to come and say, ladies and gentlemen, Elul. Half of the shul are fainting right away. All over Israel. Everywhere. Tel Aviv, Bnei Brak, Yerushalayim, everywhere you are. The shul. They say, Elul. Wow, the trial begins. Everybody falls and faint on the floor. Today, Rabotai, Elul. Rabbi, 1 second, I have a message. Okay, the appointment is delayed. Elul, big deal, Elul. Elul, Shablul, who cares? Why, no Yirat Shamayim. העיקר, Rabbi, we all בעלי תשובה, מה? I work with tzitziot, 5 meters on the floor. Beard all the way to the floor, and sombrero, $200 made in Mexico. Huh? Like one religious guy told me this week, what did you do in 4th of July, Rabbi? So what is 4th of July for me? 4th of July. We went to the beach. And this is a good guy, believe me, a great heart of gold. We have a lot to learn from this guy. He went to the beach with his kids on 4th of July. I don't know what he meant, in the beach or above the beach. I hoped in my heart that he wasn't really in the beach. It was up. Not that much better. When I was in Belgium, it was 1 block away from the beach. But over there, you didn't see the beach because it was all trees and houses. So there's no access to the beach. Only if you go with the car out of the neighborhood, then you begin to see the beach. Baruch Hashem, we are in a safe place there. But some places like Miami, you walk in the middle of Miami, anywhere you go, it's the beach. Today in Tel Aviv, the whole Tel Aviv is one big beach. You need the beach. On the street, it's also the beach. Manhattan, it's a beach. You don't need water for the beach today. Unfortunately. Let's hope these days will become better. Thank you very much. Good night.